It would be a normal, typical Tuesday, except for I have to ask the question, are we ready for war? And you can say, doesn't that seem a little hyperbolic? Doesn't that seem crazy? Why would you even say that we're going to be going to war? Well, the reason why I think that we need to be ready for war is because exactly why Trump hit Venezuela. And let's get into it right away. Welcome to the Ripple Effect. So first of all, Venezuela was hit because of what China was doing. So I mentioned this yesterday, and I discussed the fact that China has been pushing everywhere. They've been going everywhere they possibly can, and I was going to include something here from Chris Chappell, who does China Uncensored and America Uncensored, and I'll post the clip maybe later, and you guys can watch it, but it's really, really good. And he breaks it up as to why Venezuela was such an important thing to hit because of China. And China has been pushing all their aircraft carriers out. Excuse me. They've been pushing all their aircraft carriers out, and they've been trying to reach further and further and further, but there's one thing that they can't do. I know there's people out there trying to say that America doesn't need to be building aircraft carriers anymore, and they try to say that kind of stuff. I don't care. That's not my point. But they need oil. They need fuel, because all of their aircraft carriers still run on fuel. They don't have the nuclear power that we have. And so the problem with all these different countries feeding China is that all these resources that China needs are coming from these small countries that they've been investing billions of dollars in, trying to get them to give all their resources to them. And this is things that China has been doing for a very long time. And if you don't think China is a real threat to not just us, but to the free world, I don't know what rock you've been living under, but please look into it. And again, I would recommend, and I was going to try to play a clip, and I just haven't gotten that technical savvy yet, a clip from China Uncensored. It was actually America Uncovered, but he has two different channels. Both are very good on explaining it, and he's a very anti-communist, which is why I like watching him. And actually, we're watching one of the things that he had said on his video. He said that Trump, when he bombed or pseudo-bombed Venezuela, one of the bombs went and hit the mausoleum where Chavez was. So it's gone. His mausoleum's gone, guys. So that was good. But if we're going to understand how the world works, how empires work, how the politics are happening, and what's been going on with weak leaders after weak leader in America when it comes to international things, that's when you have invasions of Ukraine, and you have the attacks in Israel, and you have all these things that happened, right? Okay? And when that happens, you have to understand that things can get real really quick. And when that happens, you need to make sure that you have the resources that you need. Actually, I was reading a thing right now about the PM from Denmark. The PM from Denmark saying that she's upset because we were talking about annexing Greenland again. And at this point, I don't know that we can't. Or I don't know that we can get away with not doing it, if that makes any sense. Russia, China have shown that they have no problem with increasing aggression. China is increasing their nuclear arsenal. Guys, China is increasing their nuclear arsenal. And we've agreed not to do it because, we are civilized, supposedly. And so we're not doing this, but they're preparing for war. They're getting tankers designed in China right now. Tankers, just like the regular tankers that shipping containers, those kind of tankers. They're getting special equipment designed for mounting on them so they can have a fleet of tankers that will have missile launchers. One of them has so many missile launchers attached onto it that it's almost equivalent to an Arleigh Burke class missile destroyer or whatever it is. It's insane. They're preparing for war. Are we? Are we? You can whine about it, lefties, all you want, about us going into Venezuela and taking, and not even taking over the country, just taking the guy that was in charge. You can whine about it all you want, but are we ready for war? You can sip your latte all you like, but if we lose the country, what good does that do for us? If we lose the world, what good does that do for us? Okay? And this guy was a bad guy. We removed him. And now we have access to the oil. And you say, well, it's just that's all they're interested in. Yes, kind of. It's not even just taking the oil for us. It's removing that resource from China. 70% of the oil going out of Venezuela was going to China. They need that oil. Venezuela is the largest oil reservoir of the world. Bigger than Saudi Arabia. Do you want to keep just gently handing every resource to the people that want to kill you and take over your country? Is that what you want? And if you don't think it's serious, again, go watch the channel. You can see just everything that China keeps saying over and over and over again. At some point, we just got to believe that what they're saying is true, okay? And that's not even the only point. Venezuela was holding up all these other horrible dictators like Cuba and so on, and Russia was involved, spending billions of dollars there. And the fact that Russia came out and thought it was a smart idea to basically go after us for invading a country. Russia, you're upset with us for not even really invading a country, but going and taking out the head of that country, who's a wicked, horrible person, allowing wicked, horrible things to happen, destroying the country. But we're the crazy ones? After you've invaded a country that had nothing to do with you, per se? Yes, and causing millions to die. Wow. Good job. Yeah, Russia, you are definitely one to talk. But Russia was getting stuff going, trying to get, oil and all that kind of stuff from there, trying to get a foot in our hemisphere, so to speak. And then, not even just that, Iran, they were getting their what was it called, kamikaze drones and stuff like that from Venezuela. Like, guys, this place was horrible. Why are we even debating this and arguing this out? Now, and I like the fact that we are not in control of the country even right now. We're not, okay? We've let the person who is not even that great stay in control of this country, and we're telling them what we want. We're telling them what we want, right? I think that's great, but we're telling them what we want from them, and they're going to have to deal with it. And we've already threatened them that if you decide to continue down the road, and we didn't put the Machado in because she doesn't have control. She doesn't have the resources there. Eventually, maybe we can do that. And we're going to need to eventually. And that's something I was watching. And I know everyone freaks out when you say his name, but Ben Shapiro, he was talking about the fact that we can't just leave it where it's at right now, because otherwise in 4 years when Trump leaves office, what if we don't get another conservative president? What if we go back to being a liberal president? Then we've just lost all the gains that we have. That's kind of one of those horrible things about having a president swapped every 4 years. I understand that what are you going to do if you have a horrible president and you'd want them out in 4 years? Anyways, I get it. But we have to prepare for the worst. And we have to prepare for the fact that China's trying to get us, Russia's trying to get us. And if we don't do something about it, they're going to get to us. Greenland. I'm sorry, but Greenland might have to be annexed. It might. It sounds horrible. It sounds terrible, but it might have to be annexed. And we can do it in the best, nicest possible ways. All we need really is a bunch of bases there to protect that area from all the Chinese and Russians that have been going through that area. They control that entire section of it. Now, I had no idea how critical it was until I started looking into it. It's extremely critical for global security for that area to not have the Chinese and Russians just having free play with it. We've been playing with these people for so long, and they've been trying to destroy us for so long. It's time we woke up, and I'm glad we're doing something about it. We're sending messages to them. The delegation from China had just gotten in one day before Trump attacked, and now they have a clear message to take back. None of your nonsense, China. We don't want any of it. Get it out. We're done with this. We're not going to do this anymore. And we can't allow it to continue. We can't allow them to invade in our area. That's why Trump was talking about taking back the Panama Canal and all these other things. We cannot allow them to jeopardize our national security. And this is where this mindset that America's not the best starts to affect us. This is where the idea that the principles that we believe in, that we've built this country in, start to affect us. When we live in a world where we forget just how valuable what we believe and think is, then it's okay to let China take control over some things with all their heathenism. I mean, just horrible, horrible anti-God stuff. Just horrible. If you want that to control the world, lefties, then keep making overtures to them. But we can't. We have to own this hemisphere. Not like physically own each country. I get that. But control it. We have to know what happens in our backyard. Even Monroe understood that. That's where we get the Monroe Doctrine from, and now the jokingly Donroe Doctrine. We have to exude force to protect ourselves. Nothing stops a bad guy as a really big good guy who has better weapons. All right? And the fact that we could do this in 88 minutes just is mind-boggling. There is not a single country in the world who could have done that. I guarantee you. It's impressive. More on this tomorrow. I have to go into some more detail. I have a bunch of stuff I wanted to go into. about the Somalis, but I haven't had time. But that's also another part of it. If we're going to go to war, are we really ready to go to war when we have so much corruption happening in our own country? It's like you start marching towards war, but then you end up having your country collapse behind you because there's so many people from other countries that I don't care if they have American citizenship. I don't care. I don't care. If their loyalty isn't here, if they're not really Americans, give me a break. People came to this country because they wanted to build something. They wanted to get away from the junk that they had before, and they're trying to build something good with the principles that this country was built on. So if you don't like it and you don't want to be part of this country, stop taking our resources and go home to wherever you came from. I don't care if it's politically correct or not. But if we don't have our backyard prepared, if we don't have our backyard fixed and ready to go, when we go to war, we're going to lose because we don't have the resources that we need. And we're talking about how we need to cut back our military because it's so expensive. Well, you know what? It seems like Somalis are kind of expensive. It seems like a lot of these illegal aliens are kind of expensive. It seems like all the stuff that we're having to deal with because of these are expensive. The recovery of people and the homeless and all that stuff because of drugs is expensive. If we can get our act together, we'll be much, much, much better and much readier for what we have to come. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'll get more into this tomorrow. I just kind of running out of time right now. So I don't want to get too long on these videos. So please like, comment, and subscribe and share it. I think we're still at 98 subscribers. So I'm trying to get as many as we can so we can get the word out there. And I try to get a different take than everyone else. So follow along. Thank you so much.